Let's get it, bro.
All right, we are back with our NFL college football recap show, back with Grant Farley. Grant, how was your weekend, man?
Dude, it was a good weekend. Nothing crazy, just, a lot of games, enjoying because these past few weeks, man, have been nuts. And, again, we're kind of seeing some interesting trends, but we'll get into it, I'm sure.
Yeah, so let's start this off. Let's start off with what matters most. The Panthers win yesterday. I think it was 34-10 was the final. Cam Newton's back. First two touchdowns. The first play, runs it in for a touchdown, screaming, I'm back. I'm back. What a difference it makes from last Sunday's podcast to this Sunday's podcast.
Yeah, you sound a lot happier right now, man. It's funny because, the more the Panthers do well, the more I keep pounding all over my social media. So, hashtag keep pounding, man. All these moms out there that, walk around the games with the hashtag keep pounding shirts on, cracks me up. But no, man, they look good. They look, back to their regular season kind of form of just normalcy, right? I guess to what we've seen in the past, which was good to see for sure.
Yeah, not to overreact too much because, I think every Panthers fan right now is like, okay, we're 5-5. We're 7th in the playoff race. It's our playoff race to lose. We have a horrible schedule coming up, and I don't even know if Cam Newton's actually good or not. It was sweet seeing that back, though. It was whole different. It was a completely different game seeing, how happy these guys were. Robbie Anderson was, actually a player on the field today or last night. We're actually recording this Monday in the afternoon. So this will be up very shortly.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because, there is for sure something to say when you're playing for a guy or playing for a quarterback, and it just seems like the whole team rallies around him. It's just a different vibe, right? And I just think, I don't know what it is, but it felt like that team was just not functioning at all, with Sam Darnold. So, it's good to see, like you said, who knows what Cam Newton really is yet. Again, we – at least here, even though we're hot takes, we don't necessarily go off of just one game and just assume everything because we've seen how that doesn't work. But yeah, we'll see what Cam Newton is. It's just super interesting to see how he played, and to see what that looks like in the future.
Yeah, next week tickets are outrageous right now for Cam's return to Bank of America. Ron Rivera coming to town against the Washington football team. The Panthers are -2 against the spread. I love the Panthers.
Riverboat Ron, man. And you got to think, too, after, Washington just beat Tampa.
Big game, letdown spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Chase Young towards ACL.
Yeah, exactly. Although that does go against my theory of betting, when a star player goes down on the team, betting for that team, right? But that's obviously a defensive player. But, yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. I could see the Panthers just looking completely different these next few weeks. We'll see again, but I do like that spot too. I think that's a solid play. Yeah,
I think 9-8 will make the 7th seed in the NFC.
Yeah, and the NFC has some legit contenders. They have 5 legitimate number 1 seeds that could they could do. It's just interesting this year. There's a lot more parity, it seems across the board. It always seemed in the past it was the Chiefs, and then there'd be 1 or 2 other teams that could kind of dark horses, I guess, for the Super Bowl. This year it seems they're just anyone can beat you any night.
Yeah, I don't think the Panthers are in any way a dark horse for the Super Bowl unless we see MVP. We don't need to see MVP Cam back because weirdly enough, this is the best team he's ever been on in his career.
Yeah,
that 2015 team was terrible. Ted Ginn was our number 1 receiver.
Yeah, it's true. You're right. Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, he doesn't have to play like a miracle worker, like you said. They have pieces there. That's why I was so surprised, that Sam couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? I know McCaffrey was out for a few weeks and stuff, but man, the production was awful compared to what the pieces that he had around him.
And everybody just looked happier. That was the nature of it. And I hate to be this is a cliche thing that people say in sports, whatever. It's oh, you got to be a leader and all this. Sam Darnold was the opposite of a leader, and you just have to have that at quarterback. You just absolutely have to. Even if they're not that good, you just need someone who can at least get these guys going. And clearly you saw that from Cam.
Yeah, you just need a dog, right? You just got to have a dude that's just a dude, right? Someone that wants to I'm going to go out there, I'm going to make a play for that guy. And I don't think in the entire time he's at the Jets, I don't think the entire time he's been in Carolina, and he was really felt
or USC.
Other than yeah, it's true. Yeah. He's not a dude. And that's the problem. you got to have like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're the other team, you got to kind of hate that other guy, right? A little bit. That's kind of what you want in a quarterback. You kind of want that guy to just be like that dude that like people are like, that guy's kind of a douche, but like, that's good, right? Like you kind of need that. And you kind of want that dude that like people just like respect on your team. So yeah, Cam's a dog and we'll see where that goes. But it was a fun return for sure.
Yeah, I mean, completely different mood. If we would have been recording this last night after the game, I mean, I would have just been thrilled. But due to some miserable internet, that did not happen. But
exactly. But you went from the fire everybody to the we're chilling. Let's see what happens.
Let's chill, dog, chill, as Grant once said.
Chill, dog, chill. I like it. Hashtag keep having as well.
All right, let's move on to also great day for Carolina sports with the Hornets beating the Warriors. But yeah, let's move on. The Patriots are good.
They're good. And
I mean, Mac Jones was the last quarterback taken in the first round, and he looks like the best one. We knew that was going to happen though, because
we
Belichick was going to have this guy rolling.
It's a good fit, right? It's a good fit for the system. It's everything they want. I mean, he just makes the right thing. Like if you look at it, what he did in Bama was not an accident, but like it's not that impressive per se. Like I guess like he's not the greatest arm talent, and he's not the greatest quote unquote like blow you away quarterback, but he does everything a coach asks of him and a little bit more, and that's all you need if you're going to be successful, especially if you have the surrounding cast of the New England Patriots. But I guarantee you, if Mac Jones was in any like Jacksonville or the Jets, hell, even the Bears, like I don't think we'd be seeing what we're seeing. I just think it's a perfect marriage. And like honestly, at the end of the day, half the battle in the NFL is just that. It's just the right opportunity at the right time. And so good for him, man. Like I think he hit the right spot because he's doing exactly what he needs to do, especially as a rookie. It's super impressive. Like no one can take that away from him. But it's cool to see, man. It's cool to see at least one of those rookies balling out.
Yeah, because Trevor Lawrence he picked it up a little bit in the second half, I guess, but I think it was in the third quarter, he was like 2 for 10 with like 16 yards.
Yeah, I mean, I just think they're so used to playing a specific style in college. And I think if you are meant to like have literally put the team on your shoulders, it's just a different ball game. And like these guys, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, like they didn't walk on the field against a team that they weren't just like normally, right, 2 touchdown favorites on at least in most of the games that they played, right? So like I'm not taking anything away from their arm talent. They're amazing talents, but it's just a different thing to ask when you're saying like, hey, we're not those dudes, and we're the ones that are touchdown dogs in the NFL, right? And like you got to take us to another level. It's different. And I feel like Mac Jones was the only one out of all the rookie quarterbacks that seamlessly kind of transitioned to the exact same role he was in college to the NFL. And like I almost think too, I wonder what your take on this is, but like if Belichick took it personal last year with what went down with Brady, and basically everyone was just kind of like shifting it was Brady, not Belichick type deal, right? And I almost feel he's like, I'm gonna go out and get like the worst quarterback, quote unquote, in the first round, and I'm gonna literally get like dominate like the league with this rookie quarterback, and then like prove everybody right. I almost feel like that's what this like season's about. It's weird.
Yeah, because the funny thing is, everyone knows that Saban and Belichick are buddy and talk all the time. It feels like this was very much set up that. And obviously, it was going to be a Bill Belichick revenge season, no matter what. He was pissed watching that Bucs Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that when he was hearing all the talk, and to be honest, like it's interesting whenever someone like one of the coaches does something. We've seen that this year where a coach will make a decision with like that has to do with a quarterback or a key player, and they'll start someone over someone else. And like any experienced coach, you got to trust that they know what they're talking about in the sense of like everyone was tripping about Cam being let go right before the season. And everyone was like, that's such a stupid mistake. Like this kid needs someone. And like, obviously he saw enough to where he's like, we'll be fine. Right. It happens all the time in the NFL where like fans that are not in practice, they're not within the organization, they have no insider information whatsoever. Like that's the dumbest decision I've ever seen in my life. And then it turns out to be like, works really well. And it's like any experienced coach should have the benefit of the doubt. If they're making these calls, like they're obviously not going to do anything that's going to jeopardize their livelihood or their reputation as a coach in the league. So like, it's just funny to me, like to see all these like hot take, fans where they're like, this is the dumbest decision ever. Right. and then it works out super well for him. So, I mean, up to this point, he's been proven, everyone wrong basically, and balling out with a rookie QB, which is super impressive.
Yeah, what's interesting too is just think about every Niners fan. Sorry, shout out my guy Brian Valderez, huge Niners fan. I think they would all take Mac Jones over Trey Lance. Trey Lance was always going to be a project, but you would take Mac Jones right now. You have to.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. Like, to give up what they gave up for a project. We talked about this last week, but I just can't I can't wrap my mind around it, my brain around it. Like, the justification again, we're not the coaches and we're not we didn't see what they saw, but as of right now, it looks really bad. It looks really bad for San Fran, their future of what they gave up for what they got. I mean, if you're going to give up that much, you want to get guaranteed prospects, which is what the Rams are doing right now, where they're selling out for a ring. And they're giving up guaranteed picks, but they're also getting guaranteed production, right?
Mm-hmm.
They know what they're getting with these guys that they're getting in. It's not like they're getting we'll see. They know what they're going to get. Is that makes sense to me, right? Even though you're mortgaging basically your future, you're trying to win a championship.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's almost okay, are they just trying to do this to where they can keep their jobs longer? Kyle Shanahan's in a weird spot where he's been losing for too long, where it's all right, when do we put this guy in the hot seat and get rid of this genius tag, And Mac Jones kind of fits the mold of the quarterbacks he usually does well with, kind of like Matt Ryan. I mean, he went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy G.
Exactly. You think for that much, I guess they couldn't justify it either way, right? And I guess they're the upside in this guy's crazy, so that's why we give up all these picks. It almost feels like they were told bad information when they moved up for that pick, that they thought they were gonna get someone else. Zach
there was
Wilson
something weird going on there, because everybody was it's Mac Jones, and then last second Trey Lance. I really don't believe it was smoke screens to get Trey Lance.
Yeah, agreed.
Trey Lance would have been there no matter what. The Jets were always taking Wilson, and the Jags were always taking Lawrence. I don't understand that.
Yeah, it seems. There's no way they're playing that game. There's no way because the Jets were sold on the idea of Zach Wilson very early on. That was just an obvious. It was the worst kept secret of the number 2 pick in a long time for at least quarterbacks. But it was interesting, man. Yeah, I wonder what went down. It'd be interesting to figure that out later on. But something was wrong. Something went wrong. I don't know whether it's they thought they were gonna get someone that wasn't there when they made the trade, or if they just projected way off on Trey Lance as not as much of a project. But as of right now, it looks really, really bad. It does not look good.
Yeah, he looks like a more raw Cam Newton. All right, well, let's talk about what else happened yesterday. The Chiefs dominated the Raiders. Well, dominated's a stretch because Raiders could have made that a close game. Chiefs, are the Chiefs fully back, or are we just going to think the Chiefs are back? Vegas is going to put a huge line on the Chiefs where a game they should be -4, they're going to be -7.5, and everybody's going to take the Chiefs and get screwed.
It seems like that's the magic line for the Chiefs. Anytime they're at a -7.5, it's stay the hell away. I don't care who they're playing. It seems like that's the magic, the hook of the half a point. It never works out well, and I feel like they always never cover that line. So just warning the public now, even though you may think they're back, if it's 7.5 points, I'm just saying I would stay away from it. But yeah, man, it's just fun to see them play their brand of football again. It's fun to see an offense that just balls out like the Chiefs does. There's not many like it.
There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. The only thing I can relate the Chiefs offense to is the Warriors in basketball. Those years when this last couple years when Curry and Clay have been out and the whole COVID situation, it sucked not seeing Warriors basketball. And then you see it this year. They're oh, this is the best team in the league.
Yeah, exactly. And it's true, man. That kind of offense is just it's incredible, right? Mm-hmm. It's above and beyond what the expectation is in the NFL. So when people watch it, and I think that's what people get carried away with when they're when they see these big spreads, is they're oh, it's the Chiefs. They can cover anything, right? And it's yeah, but they've also been one of the worst covering teams in the NFL the past few years, literally awful, right? So we'll see, man. I don't know. Again, we'll see what they look like, against because again, I don't know how amazing this Raiders team is. They've kind of been up and down, right? And they have a lot going on with everything with John Gruden and stuff. So who knows what that means? But
Yeah,
They look good.
it's been a weird Raiders year. There are like 10 playoff contenders in the AFC.
Yeah.
It seems like
There really
everybody
is.
in the AFC is just 5-3, 5-4, 6-3.
Yep. It's just like, yeah, they're all right. They're all right there.
So yeah, the Chiefs are -2 at home to the Cowboys.
See, I would take the
Gosh,
Cowboys.
that's a stay away. That's the
I would
Cowboys,
take
right?
the Cowboys. I would take the Cowboys. I would give me the money line on that one for sure. Like I would. I don't know. I just I don't buy into I don't know. I just don't buy into that defense. And I
Awful
definitely
Sunday night game next week. Steelers at the Chargers.
Mm.
Um,
that's rough.
yeah, it looks like all the sharp money's already on the Cowboys.
Yeah. I mean, when they play like they play, again, their offense is incredible too, man. Like when they play like they should play, it's super, super impressive. Yeah, I would definitely lean Cowboys in that until the line shifts because I think it'll probably shift to closer to a money line play, if not, if not some points towards Kansas City would be my guess.
All right, let's move on. Bills dominate the Jets. Bills look like they're back to what they were. Jets, Mike White. Mike White's done. It's over. It was fun while it lasted. The first overall pick, Mike White.
The Mike White hype. It was fun while it lasted. Shout out to any Jets fans that ever listen to this. Like whoever they are, right? The majority of people that wanted Mike White as their franchise quarterback, man. Like, look, we can't, again, either way, you can't say this kid sucks. He's obviously a backup type quarterback, but like it's one game either way. So I'm not gonna like shift super, super hard, but he's not your guy. Like you brought in the number 2 pick, you got to build around Zach Wilson. Like it's just that simple. And to be honest, man, like Zach Wilson, I was thinking about this the other day. I think they should get a high end, like in free agency or in the draft, a tight end. Like obviously Kyle Pitts, would be a dream, but like there's not many Kyle Pitts out there. But I'm saying like someone that's solid that I think a tight end would be massive for his development because he used a tight end ton in college at BYU. And he would be really, really good with a tight end.
I really don't think their receivers are terrible. I think Corey Davis, Jamison Crowder, I think they're fine. They're definitely a bottom half receiving core, but it's not terrible. He does need a tight end. I mean, we saw it when he had Bushman or Isaac Rex, he was fantastic. And end of the day, you gotta have a good O-line.
Yeah. They need. I mean, for sure they're gonna draft. I think.
It's just wide open. It's just like a hallway.
It's bad. So that's the problem. It's like, how do you know what the problems lie on either like Mike White or Zach Wilson, right? It's like you don't really know. And I think they'll have 2 top 15 picks with the Seahawks picks, so 2 number 1 picks. I'm sure they'll get a center from like Iowa or something like that, the Iowa kid, or I'm sure they'll get a guard, something like that in the first round, just kind of like they got Bear Tucker. Bear Tucker's like literally grading out as one of the that's a great pick. That was an awesome pick that they had, going up and getting him at 13.
And hopefully Mekhi Beckman's back.
Exactly. Hopefully he's back. But yeah, you probably draft one and then like maybe draft, an offensive weapon. But here's my thing. I don't think Corey Davis is a true wide receiver 1. And if you can give a young kid kind of like what Kyler Murray has, kind of like what Josh Allen has with, Stephon Diggs, our boy that hit the first touchdown play for us back in the day. And if you can give like a security blanket and or a really good tight end, right? Like, one of the biggest threats for the Chiefs has always been literally, what's his name? The Chiefs guy. I can't think his name. Yeah, no, not Tyreek. The tight end.
Oh, Travis Kelce.
Yeah, Travis Kelce. So like Travis Kelce, man, like that's such a huge security. So he just needs a security blanket, someone. And I don't know Corey Davis is that dude because like he hasn't played as such. So it would be nice to see that, right? But they've given up, I think it was 175 points in the past 4 games, which hasn't happened in like 50 years. So like it's not even like it's just the offense. Like the defense is horrendous right now too. So
yeah, the offense puts the defense in horrible positions. It's a mix of everything.
Sure.
It's just they need to lose every game and get a good pick. But yeah, Mike White, rest in peace. It's over. He'll have a backup. He'll have a backup job for life. You'll have money on a random playoff team, and they're like, "Oh, the quarterback's hurt." Coming in is Mike White. You're like, that's not bad.
Yeah, you're like, all right. Yeah, I might take them actually. We'll see.
You're like, he'll be Derek Anderson the rest of his career.
Exactly, dude. I love it.
Last thing in the NFL, I just want to mention this. We'll talk about this quickly. That Packers-Seahawks game was the marquee game of the week. Was awful. That was terrible. Rodgers coming off COVID, whatever. And then Russell Wilson with his videos coming out every day, working 18 hours, ready for this moment. I'm primed. I'm back. 17-0. Seahawks could not score a single point. He looked horrendous.
He looked worse than Geno Smith, man. I'm almost.
Geno Smith would have scored 3 points. No doubt about it. Shout out Jerem Jordan, who tweeted this out. He was like, yeah, you can't tell me Geno Smith would not have scored 3 points today.
That's what I'm saying, man. Geno Smith, like, I'm telling you, he's not like awful.
He's the Mike White. You're like, all right, he's coming in like as a backup. Like, we're not dead. We're not. Yeah. It's not great shoes, but we're not dead, kind of thing. Teddy Bridgewater is the ultimate. That guy is like, okay, he's coming off the bench for us. That's great because he's too good to be a backup, but he's not good enough to be a starter.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's funny because like the funniest tweet I saw on the Packers side was where someone was like, like the offense be looking like they don't want to catch COVID from Aaron Rodgers. So I was dying because like they're all practicing social distancing while in the field. Like their offense is so incohesive as of right now. So yeah, they looked rough. Like it just looked like a weird game.
Yeah.
But it was never in doubt that Aaron Rodgers was going to win that game. Like, I don't know what it is, man, but he's just in command.
Dave Portnoy had a $500,000 on the Packers.
I mean, they've been the best. They've been the safest bet I would love to see what their record is. I'm sure they're the best NFL team this year because they always have
them and the Cowboys, right?
Yeah, they've got to be like those have got to be up there because they've been up. They are always for some reason are close spreads. I don't know why Vegas can't get their line right, but they're never right, and they always cover and they always win. Like they've been winning a ton of games. 8 in a row now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're 8-1 or whatever it is, or whatever their record is. Like they're a really good covering team. So like they're about as good as free money.
Yeah, and then last thing too. There's like a bunch of Super Bowl contenders. I don't think like a team like the Titans, who are 8-2, number 1 in the AFC, will stay. I don't think they're remotely a legit Super Bowl contender. I mean, tell me you're not taking the Chargers over the Titans.
You're saying if I'm taking the Chargers or the Titans?
Yeah. If you're going in the playoffs, who do you like more to win the Super Bowl? Chargers or Titans?
I'd probably say the Titans.
Really? I think I would take the Chargers. Even though Chargers have looked awful these last few weeks, everything fell apart, it seems like.
I think someone's kind of figured them out in their defense because their defense has looked kind of rough. But, I mean, again, we'll see. Playoff football is different, but I really do think – I don't know. Are you with or without Derrick Henry?
Without. With Derrick Henry, I'm taking the Chargers or the Titans any day of the week.
Yeah.
It was funny just watching that Chargers-Vikings game. It was just like that stupid Spider-Man meme that everyone posts where their two Spider-Mans are pointing at each other. That was just the Vikings-Chargers.
It really was. It really was. And, like, that was such a trap game, like, for people just to take. Dude, Minnesota is that team.
Whatever side you took, you lost. Even if you took Minnesota, you probably lost somehow.
Exactly. It's just awful. Like, those two lines are just awful. Yeah. So it's true. That's such a good point. But, yeah, man, I don't know. I think I would lean Titans just because of like the run game that they've established there. And like, I think that's super important. But definitely clutch wise, like Herbert's a dog. And like, I could totally see him upsetting someone in the playoffs just because like he's that good.
Yeah. So let's move on to college football. There's not going to be a Big 12 team in the playoff this year. Oklahoma loses to Baylor. No ACC, no Big 12, unless like something catastrophic happened. Yeah, I mean, it's looking like Georgia, Bama, Cincy, Ohio, or not Cincy. It's right now it's Georgia, Bama, Oregon, Ohio State. Does Oregon State win out?
Oregon State?
Or sorry, Oregon. Does Oregon win out? Sorry, I was thinking Ohio State and Oregon.
No, I think they drop one of Utah. They're going to lose one of those two games. I don't know which one it's going to be, but they're going to lose one of the two. I think best case scenario would be they lose at Utah. And then they win in the Pac-12 championship game. They go to the Rose Bowl. Cincinnati gets in. That would be dope. I would love that. That would be ideal. And that would be interesting, man. Do you think they would take a 2-loss to basically Stanford and Utah, Oregon Pac-12 champion over a Cincinnati that has 0 losses?
I don't think so. I think they showed that.
You can't, right? If they do that, that's savage as hell.
No, I really don't think you can. The fact that Cincinnati's at 5 right now and Oklahoma was behind them. Even Wake Forest was behind them by 4 spots. Michigan was behind them. Michigan State's now behind them. I think Cincy gets in, which is crazy.
They have the path. The problem is they're going to play Georgia. They're going to play Georgia because they're not going to get any higher than the 4 seed if they get in.
No, they won't get higher than the 4 seed, and it'll be a 21-point spread in that first semifinal game.
All right, if you get 21 points, you get Cincy plus 21. Are you taking Cincy in that game?
I don't see how you can.
I don't know. I might mess with it, man. That might be fun. Just because, like,
it depends where it's at. Because can it be in Atlanta?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. It could be, I guess.
I think the sites are Rose Bowl.
No, I don't think the Rose Bowl is one. Well, no, I don't think the Rose Bowl is one.
I can look this up real quick, but while I'm looking it up, Michigan could easily get in the playoff. The winner of Michigan Ohio State's getting in the playoff, aren't they?
I think so.
And there's another interesting part too, to where there could be no Big Ten team if you really think about it. All of these teams could have 2 losses.
Yeah, it's true.
And then at that point, what do you do? Do you put in a 12-1 Wake Forest if they go out and win the ACC?
I think they'll have a 2-loss. The Big
2-loss Oregon?
They'll put 2-loss over a 1-loss Wake Forest for sure.
I think it would just be Bama then would take that spot if Bama has. That's another thing. What if Bama loses to Auburn?
You think they're going to lose that game, huh?
It just seems like one they're going to lose. Every few years you're like, this is the Auburn Alabama game that's going sideways. It feels like this is the year.
Yeah. On that one, I think Bama will take care of business. I think they will lose again, or I think they're going to lose again when they play in the SEC championship. But they're going to be fine. They're going to be 4. They will get in. SEC will have 2 teams in. Big Ten will have 1 guaranteed. I promise you, they're going to get 1 in. It's just how it is. And then I think it'll be either Cincy, Oregon, someone like that, as the other one. Do you think, I'll ask this, based on the production of Oklahoma last week in Texas literally lost to Kansas, by the way, at home, which is so bad. Do you think the SEC has buyer remorse right now, adding Texas and Oklahoma?
Not at all. The SEC, I don't think really necessarily cares how good these teams are. Their brands are just so big.
Yeah.
I mean, the Big 12 was, clearly it almost fell apart now once Texas and Oklahoma left. That's how big their brands are. Single-handedly carrying a conference. Even though Texas wasn't even good the whole time they were in the Big 12 the last decade, and they were still carrying that conference, having the Longhorn Network and everything. I don't think SEC gives a crap because they have teams like Vanderbilt in there.
That's true. And my thing is, I think the decision that Oklahoma and Texas made, I think they're gonna regret that decision just because chasing the bag. I think they're gonna because look, Texas hasn't been competitive in the big, like you said, the Big 12 for literally a decade, and Oklahoma's just been cruising through the Big 12 almost every single year. They've had the easiest path possible to playoff, and that's a 4-game playoff too. Could you imagine if it expanded to 12? They would never have to worry about being in the playoff ever, literally ever.
If they expanded to 12, does BYU get in?
They will eventually. Yeah.
That's another interesting thing. Oh, real quick. The college football playoff sites are semifinal games are the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl, and the championships in Miami.
Dang, I did not know it was the Rose Bowl. That's interesting. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing that's interesting. Does BYU get a New Year's Six this year? They're projected to make the Fiesta Bowl.
No, I don't think so. Unless
you think they lose to USC?
No, they're gonna win out, in my opinion. I think they're gonna take care of business. I just don't think they're gonna get I don't think they're gonna get the benefit of the doubt to get the New Year's Six. The
issue is it's gonna be either New Year's Six or the Shreveport Independence Bowl.
Although talk is that ESPN's already reached out and was like, hey, don't accept the invitation of the Shreveport. We're gonna get you to a better bowl regardless, is what I've heard. I don't know if it's gonna be New Year's Six though. So take that for what it's worth, but that's what I'm hearing from my end at least.
Yeah. I don't see how they get into a New Year's Six.
I don't see it. Realistically, I don't see it.
Because you got to have an ACC school. Baylor's going to make it in.
Yeah, Baylor took care of business against Oklahoma. They're fine.
Oklahoma might make one in.
Yeah, you would have needed all these teams in front of you to lose. And frankly, it's just there's not enough chaos that can happen. And you don't have enough impressive stuff at the end to put that like benefit of because like you've already done what you need to do in the front half, but like on the back half, it's just not enough. Like that Boise State loss will be the reason why they're not in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it still going to be Ohio State, Georgia in the final?
I like Bama more than Ohio State personally. But that's
really?
Just me. Yeah, that's just me. I mean, again, that's probably just because SEC bias, but like historically speaking,
it's hard to disagree with that.
It's just hard to disagree with the fact that like SEC is going to dominate the playoff and they're going to be at least one person in the championship game from the SEC almost every year, like guaranteed. Write it down, pencil it in. Like they're going to have one in the championship. So like I feel like if I had to choose, I'd probably lean Nick Saban getting it done against like Ohio State. Yeah. Because whoever Georgia plays, they're probably going to steamroll. Like if they play Oregon, they're going to kill them. They're going to kill Oregon. So like for me, I'm like, I'd rather see Cincinnati play in that 4 spot than Oregon, just because like, see what happens. Let's run it back, right, from last year. Oregon, there's no way they're going to be like, there's literally no way. So like, I'd rather see Cincy try and do it and just see if they can, do anything.
Yeah, I mean, so looking at this right now, last thing we'll cover, is there any games you like this week spread-wise in college football?
Honestly, man, like
it's BYU minus 20 is the play, right?
I had to play that just because I'll be there.
It's a 4. So that's a weird spot because BYU, other than Idaho State, I don't think they've ever covered a day game in their lives.
Yeah, they're awful during day.
But it's at a weird time. It's at 4 p.m.
So like
that's that tricky spot. That's that tricky spot.
Could be that tricky spot. The thing
like, is this a second half play?
Maybe.
Once the sun goes down?
No, it's probably the first half play actually.
Yeah, first half play because it'll be like minus 10.5.
Yeah, if you're going to take anything in the game, you want to take the first half because he's sitting those guys as quick as he possibly can. Like you saw that he literally shut down Tyler Jarrett last week
after that touchdown.
Yeah, after like literally the first quarter, like it was done. Like he shut him down. So like you don't want to mess with Kalani when it comes to these big spreads in these games because he does not care about spreads at all. Like he will not run up the score, whatever. And all the overs people that love BYU, like you've been sorely mistaken for 2 years now. Like he will straight up he will kneel it on the 1 yard line if you ask him like not to run up the score. So like that's why people hate the over against BYU. But like I feel like they understand almost every single game.
Yeah, and also I love Utah minus 3 against Oregon. Oregon is the 3rd ranked team in the country. Utah is 24. It's at Utah. This is Utah winning. There's no way Utah does not win this game now.
This is a complete and utter stay away from me just because of what happened last. So last year I was super high on Utah in the Pac-12 championship game, or 2 years ago. Sorry, 2 years ago when they played with Tyler Huntley, Zach Moss. I was super high on them to take care of business against Oregon, and they got trashed. So like when it comes to Oregon and Utah, I would definitely lean Utah with you there. And because like I think they're going to win this one again against Oregon at home, and I think they're going to lose in the Pac-12 championship game because nobody chokes like Utah when it comes to these kind of games. Like I can totally see it, but I think they will take care of business at home. Like it just makes sense to me. They play really well there.
Awesome, and I also like Wake Forest plus 4.5 at Clemson. I think Clemson's genuinely terrible.
Dude, their quarterback, man, like DJ.
Dude, he's got a Dr. Pepper ad. He's got a national Dr. Pepper ad that he's in. Every Saturday you're watching college football. You're like watching Georgia dominate teams, Ohio State dominate teams, and like, all right, let's cut to commercial. And it's DJ Uyunglele just talking on Dr. Pepper. And I'm just super impressed with myself. I actually pronounced that well.
Yeah, you did. You
there we go, dude.
Man. No pause whatsoever. But dude, what do you think before we go? What do you think about these coaches getting fired midseason more than ever? Like the Pac-12, I think has 4 openings now. They have Washington.
Shout out Carter Cast guest Nick Rolovich.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. So they have Washington, they have USC, Washington State, right? Just those 3 at the top of my head. I'm sure I'm missing somebody. I'm sure Cal's not too far behind. Like there's so many coaches in the hot seat or like literally are fired mid-season. Like the entire Pac-12 is going to have a new coaching staff basically. The only one that's long tenured there is pretty much Kyle Whittingham at Utah. Other than that, man, it's like a revolving door with the Pac-12 because I think their expectations are like champagne expectations and the product on the field is straight up like McDonald's. Like it's just not that good. That's
the problem. The ACC is kind of having not the similar problem because they're not firing coaches left and right, but the product on the field is just nowhere near the level of, hot top Big Ten and middle of the pack SEC. Middle of the pack SEC will always dominate ACC besides one or two teams.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not like top to bottom. That's the conference you want to be in. And so, like, seriously, going back to Texas, like, I feel really bad for those guys. I don't think they're going to be again with the 12-team playoff. That's huge because they're going to get a ton of SEC teams in there. But
it's going to be 3-4 SEC teams every year.
Every year, guaranteed. Yeah, whoever the top two are, so whoever plays in the SEC championship game, guaranteed they'll be in there. And then, like, probably they'll have one more large, I imagine, if not another one. Like, I could definitely see 3 or 4.
All right. Well, anything else?
No, man, it's been good catching up. I'm glad we're doing this, during the day instead of like
3 a.m. Awesome, perfect. Well, make sure to go subscribe, rate, and review to the podcast. Go check us out on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at CarterBA, at The Real Grant FA1, and then at Connor_Sparrow. On the website will be up and running soon. We'll be getting articles out, putting clips up there and everything. That'll be cartercast.com. You can check out a preview of it right now. Should be up with it by the end of the month. So make sure to go check that out. And Grant, thanks for coming on.
Hey, always a pleasure, man. We'll talk next week.